Martial law is coming. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Why do I say that? Well, with everything going on right now and things headed in the wrong direction, Supreme Court decisions coming up, midterms, November, shortages, inflation, rumors of war. I have a feeling it's going to happen. So let's talk about it a little bit. Talk about what it is and what it isn't. Martial law. A lot of people like talking about it and making it sound like it is a across the board, all the way across the country, everything, everywhere is locked down by the military. Because that's what martial law is. It is the civilian authorities no longer having the power, ability, and or jurisdiction to maintain law and order. It becomes the military's job at that point. And this is all part of the continuity government, and how continuity government falls basically under FEMA. So the president's still the president, the people are still who they are, but FEMA's pretty much kind of running the show. FEMA and the military. I don't know the exact numbers of how many people we have in the military now. But if you think about the fact that at least 10, if not more, 20 people in the military are behind the scenes doing that kind of work, behind the scenes kind of work, for every boot on the ground, well, that means that there's a lot less boots on the ground type personnel that can actually go out there and enforce martial law. With that said, martial law is only realistically attainable for certain locations. It is not going to be across the board. It's impossible. They can't maintain rule or martial law all the way across the nation. Heck, I don't even know if they could do it effectively in one state. There are too many people, too spread out, to effectively introduce and maintain a martial law situation. So where would they do it? Cities, of course. Big cities. LA, New York, Seattle, Houston, to name a few, Chicago. You guys know what I'm talking about, the big cities. And their ability to maintain martial law in a big city is even limited because of the number of people. There are more people in New York City than in the entire U.S. military. You can't send in the entire U.S. military into New York City. Just doesn't work. So, I guess I want to set your mind at ease, kind of. If you live rural, well, you probably won't see any instance or anything about martial law. They can say that martial law is instituted in, like, say, a county or a state or something like that, but their ability to maintain it is very limited. Like I said, they can't do it all across the United States at once. You got to understand that what the military's capability is. It is a concern, yes, because the biggest thing about martial law is that the Constitution is suspended, all laws, civilian authority, all that stuff, courts, everything is suspended. You no longer have any rights. You no longer have any freedoms except for what the military feels like giving you. So if you're in one of these areas, these cities, high threat areas, you should be concerned. But if you're living in a city anyway, you should be concerned about a lot of things. We talk about bugging out and bugging in a lot in the preparedness community. If you're living in a city, bug out, period. There's no bugging in if you live in a city, because it will not be sustainable. Just won't. There's too many threats. It's too tied into the on-demand supply system. If you live rural, run a bunch of farms and farmers and homesteaders and, you know, people that grow their own gardens, raise their own chickens, stuff like that, well, then those people are going to weather the effects of anything that's going down much better than people in a city. So my recommendation is always, if you live in a city, get out. Excuse me. And don't say you can't because of work, because of whatever. You can always better your situation. Maybe you don't want to. Okay, I get it. If you don't want to, hey, you do you. Free will, right? I fully respect everybody's free will. I just know that I would never be caught dead living in a city ever, much less in an SHTF scenario. I can't stand cities. I don't like most people. I don't like being around lots of people. I don't like concrete. I like this stuff. Yeah, I don't like smog. I don't like cars. I don't like a lot of noise. I like peace and quiet. But back to martial law. Cities are much easier to control than rural areas or even suburban areas because most cities have limited routes into and out of cities. Usually have major thoroughfares. Yeah, there are little country roads sometimes, stuff like that. But a lot of cities are very easy to shut down. Much more easy than rural areas because rural areas are spread out. Everybody's spread out. And it takes a lot more manpower and or equipment to shut a rural area down. Cities, overpasses, bridges, highways, freeways, all these kind of things can be shut down much easier. One comment, first, before I make that comment, before I talk about that, if you guys enjoy the content or want to support the preparedness community in general, get out there and support your preparedness community, especially here on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, please. Very, very appreciated. Share the videos, comment below, do all those things. Help all prepper channels to get the exposure needed to reach more people, to make more people aware of things like this. Like I said, martial law, a lot of people talk about it like it's just this thing that's shutting down the whole country. No, they can't do it. Just like people talk about an EMP going off and all electronics, every single electronic thing is fried. No, that's not the case. There are a lot of factors involved. Some electronics may still work. The majority of them will not, yes. But continuity of government was what I was thinking about, talking about. And FEMA. We've all seen how effective FEMA is at dealing with difficult situations. I have a contact that is very high up in the FEMA organization. And this individual has informed me that she is very glad to have all the faith-based organizations out there helping out in situations, whether it be Hurricane Katrina or whatever it may be, because she said that they are much more effective than FEMA is, because whereas she works there, yes, she recognizes the fact that it is a government agency. All the red tape, it takes some time to spin up, to get everything going. It's government. It's not the best. Of course not. That faith-based organizations provide a much quicker response, a better response, and to me, that's just the way it should be. It should be people taking care of each other out of their own free will and goodness of their hearts, not relying on government to take care of us. But anyway, so say big bad goes down. FEMA is in charge of continuity government. How well do you think things are going to work then? I mean, come on. They can't even handle a hurricane in one city very well. This is why we prep. Seriously. There may be a lot of good, hardworking people in the organization of FEMA. It's not necessarily their fault. Just like anything. There's good people in the military. There's good people in law enforcement. But there's also bad. There's also lazy. There's also the government aspect of all this stuff. So, martial law is not across the board. It may or may not affect you when it goes down. Continuity government, that's a totally different ballgame. And like I said, I'm not saying that FEMA replaces the president. The president's still the president. Basically, all the powers that be, though, president, staff, vice president, Congress, all those people go into bunkers and lockdown. So they know that they're taken care of. They basically hide out, and they run and hide. They tuck their tails and hide when they, expect other people to take care of the problems, just like politicians usually do, or send somebody else off to fight their wars. The rich start the wars, the poor die in wars. It's the way it works. They don't care about us, other than the fact that we're cogs in the machine that enable them to build more wealth. So get out there and garden, get out there and raise animals, get out there and stockpile food, stockpile water, identify water locations, get your water purification stuff in order. Get your stuff in order, get your gear in order, get your training, increase your knowledge sets, get physically fit, have a bug out plan, etc., etc., etc. Prepping is a big thing. But martial law isn't necessarily anything that you have to worry about per se. It's something to talk about, sure. It's something to be aware of, yes. But it's not an all-encompassing thing. I just wanted to clear that up. Common sense is that the U.S. military does not have the capability. And if we are in a situation like that, can they call in NATO, other NATO forces, UN maybe? Possibly. So then if you combine NATO and UN forces, if that's willing, if the whole world isn't falling apart and we're not in some world conflict situation, then maybe they'd be much more effective at enforcing martial law across the board. But then we'd have big problems. Once blue hats start landing on American soil and telling people what to do, we got a problem. Yeah, it's not good at that point. There'd be a lot of blue hat target practice going on. So, because American people, we really like our sovereignty. We don't like, for the most part, Americans do not like the whole New World Order, one world government, all this kind of stuff. No, we don't. We like being sovereign. We like having free will. We like our freedoms. We like our rights. We like our guns. We like our Bibles. And we like our hot dogs and our steaks. Not meatless society. Oh, well, I'm talking about that. Masculinity is not toxic. There are a-holes out there, men and women. But masculinity is something that needs to make a return. We need to start seeing real men out there willing to stand up, willing to make a difference. Anyway, thank you for your support. I love you guys very much. I appreciate all of you guys. Get out there and prepare. Get out there and spread the word. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And blessings to you and yours.